Don't fall a bowler.
Okay, now we getting to the part of we got the overall picture and character ready. So we got all the silhouette and all the big shape that I kind of wanted, and now I just have to go in and refining the character and the armor that I designed and make it how I want it to look. So when you're painting or when you rendering the part of the character, be aware that each part of the character had a certain value to it. Like when you look at the overall picture on this thumbnail, just imagine that you can't, if you going in and refine this part of the skirt or this part of the arm, you can't have a highlight or a value of the area that is lighter than whatever the part is there. And that's why a lot of people, including myself, make a mistake early in the beginning stage, like when I was painting back then, going in and zoom in and usually forgot to look or step back and look at the thumbnails, because when you zoom in, you kind of like, okay, you think that you can refine this a little more, you can make it all, pretty up and stuff, but it's not necessary. The point is you have to get a point across. You don't have to get everything in solid detail, especially in painting. In drawing maybe, but still, like if you're drawing black and white, you cannot like put every single thing unless it's only a line drawing. So you just have to kind of leave it the value as is, as long as it's readable and it's successfully convey what it is, and you just go in and trying to use the existing value that is already there. If it looks correct from far away or is previously looked correct, don't change anything in the value. Just use that value that is there, trying to make it look better. Like what I'm trying to do right now on this part of the armor is that using the value that is already there. Like if I go light, I won't go any lighter than any of the part that's already there. But in here, maybe it's one of the exceptional because I didn't put any value on there, and if I want to add some additional shape or form, I might have to like do something with that. But most of the time you won't, or you I suggest that you shouldn't try to change or alter extreme value in any of the part, unless it's like in the case of like, okay, her eyes has like a glowing eyes, then you can change the value and change the areas around it to reflect whatever it is. But whatever the initial composition and value that you have early on stage and it look right, then don't change it unless it's look okay, doesn't look right, and you should put up the more light over here or less light over there, or dark over here and light over there. Like see, when I'm fixing this here, I don't add too much value there. I just kind of add a little bit of hinge. If it's a metal, then it's poly shiny, so you add just a little bit, but not as light as the light area here or on the face. So if you compare and color pick them, it usually the lighter, even the darkest part of the lighter value of the overall picture will be have a lighter value than the whatever in the darker part of the lightest part of the darker value. So it sounds a little bit confusing, but I hope I make some sense. And it's just maintaining the value and maintaining your composition and your lighting and stuff, because once you change the value of a certain area, the composition change, the lighting change, and you might screw up the whole pictures. So it's not a good thing. So now I'm just going in and trying to refine whatever and adding some a little bit design here and there. This one is pretty quick. It took me about half a day, but I fast forwarded. I'm trying to make a really good tutorial on this one. So, and usually when I work over here on the interface, I don't do much of a trick of using a bunch of layers and stuff, because I'm just not like it, because sometimes I like to use the color that is behind it to add up with it and mix them up. It depends on what kind of brush I use, and I usually merge them, but I always have like a multiple copy of the merge, because if I did something wrong or I want to go back to the previous version of, like, okay, say 20 minutes ago, then I won't have to do much. So that's kind of like a backup, but there's nothing fancy here. And this gradient map, I'm gonna explain. If you flip it back and forth, you can check your value if your value is correct or not. So it's handy to have that gradient maps in when you paint it and you kind of confused. And flip your picture once in a while, and flip and work on it for a while, and then flip it back, and it will help you a lot and see if your picture is correct or not. And always look at your thumbnail down here. That's a pretty good indication of you going at the right direction or not. And on this bar over here, I usually use a hue, saturation, and brightness, because it's easier for me to pick in Photoshop. In Painter, it has a really smart interface that you can pick the color or the hue from. But on this one, I'm kind of used to it, because you can pick your saturation if you want the color to be more saturated or less saturated, or the brightness of it. And the hue, it just whatever it is, spectrum of the color. And when you go in and refine, just kind of like using the existing color that's already there and kind of pick it there and make it prettier and stuff. And especially when you work on a concept piece, most of the time it's not an illustration, so you won't have like few weeks to finish, or you don't have like, probably most of the time will be a couple of days maximum, but most of the time you have to be able to concept it within like a day or half a day. It depends on like how important the character is, or how crucial the timing of the production is. But mostly you have to be really fast, and you have to be able to work fast and meet the deadline, and you have to be able to, you have to be willing to redo it, because sometimes when you send in the concept and they just happen to like, well, that's not what we're looking for, then you're gonna have to go back and change it. And also keep in mind that when you do a concept, just try to do a bunch of variation. Okay, so now I'm picking the color. I'm trying to add some spice into this piece. I'm gonna pick some kind of magenta pink, because I don't see it that much in the design, and I'm just gonna try and make it different. Somebody might not like it, but I don't think it looks so bad, so it works in this one. So I'm just kind of like adding the color pink design I usually paint on the layer itself. There's nothing fancy about it, but sometimes it helps if you using the brush and set it on the lineage dodge mode, because when you paint over it, it become lighter. But that's I don't use that until in the end of the concepting or the illustration, because when you have everything already laid out, it's easier to kind of like, when you paint it, you don't have to like pick the lighter color and go over it, because when you go over it with that effect, it will just go over and make it lighter. So it's make it fast and efficient for what I'm looking for and stuff. And I'm just kind of like going in with the whatever design that I kind of have in mind, and just go with it. And be aware to leave some big area and small area. Just kind of like keep in mind that you don't design a bunch of cluster thing together, because it won't read, especially when you use time for game or for animation or whatever it is. But mostly in video game or regular character, because it's hard to read, especially if you zoom it from far away. It's okay to have like a little niche detail inside it, but make it subtle, and like some kind of metal design or little thing here and there that doesn't have the effect like the pink color here. So there's a subtle design, and there's a design that you want to stand out, like this sort of pink or magenta thing. I want it to stand out, and it's, if you notice, it would be like busy, kind of generic, and then busy again around here, and generic, and so like getting busy on the side. And that's how I learned from the design, because you don't want it to be all these. It might be a good, nice detail, but you kind of take away from it because your design is too busy. So now I'm trying to add some additional color to make this design a little more appealing. But mostly, most of the good design I've seen, they don't have a lot of color. They just have like one main color, or what do you call, the dominant color, and then you just have a bunch of secondary color and the third color laying around somewhere.